There is one specific reason why AMC doesn't work out for a lot of IMGs, and almost nobody talks about this. It happened with me, so I'm going to tell you exactly what it is by the end of this video. I'm Arjun, an IMG who graduated from Georgia in 2024. I have around 14 publications, got my AMC MCQ done in my first attempt, got my FMG done in my first attempt, and I have around a year of clinical attachments in a metro hospital in Hamad as well. On paper, everything's perfect, and it's been almost 2 years, and I still don't have a job in Australia yet. That's the point of this video. AMC and working in Australia seems like heaven to any IMG who just graduated. There's only one exam, pass it, and you get to start working. That's what I believe too, but it's not so simple. So there's AMC 1 and AMC Clinical, but passing AMC 1 alone gives you eligibility for limited registration, meaning you can work in Australia. So I took out 4 months, made a dedicated plan, wrote it, got it done in my first attempt. So what's next? Just get a job and start working, right? Everything's settled. No. Australia is one of the most sought after countries to work in today as a doctor, not just because it pays well, but because it has a few factors in it which are so rare in any other healthcare system. For example, mental well-being and healthcare work-life balance is protected in Australia, and there are protocols and systems in place to keep this in check and to make sure that there is mental well-being among healthcare staff. It is not just talked about, but it's actually practiced and put in place. That's very attractive to any doctor who's working right now. So here your long-term career is kinda sorted. You can build a career on your work and your reputation, and specialty training even is achievable if you're passionate and consistent. It's not just based on exam scores or extracurriculars or networking. Rather, this gives the freedom for doctors to plan 10 to 15 years, making it a very attractive option for US and UK doctors. Personally know doctors, nurses, and nurse assistants who are having a very fulfilling life, and that's very rare in today's world in healthcare. So, when you think of Australia, you're competing against doctors worldwide with loads of experience who are already settled and are ready to give all of that up to start fresh here. That's how high a goal this is. So naturally, the pathway rewards long-term planning and strategy, not urgency. If you're a doctor with 3 to 4 years of experience already, and you got your AMC 1 done, you can compress the time scale to 3 to 4 months and get a job with the right guidance. However, if you're an IMG who's just starting their career, there are a few things I want you to keep in mind before selecting the Australian pathway. When you're applying, there's a hierarchy. Australian graduates first, UK trained doctors next, IMGs with AMC 2, and then IMGs with AMC 1 only. That puts you at the lowest rung of the ladder and the lowest priority, but there is real demand for doctors here in Australia. There are around 5,000 to 6,000 positions opening up every year. But if you have graduated from China or Georgia, there is one thing that will definitely stop your progress. I'll get to that in a minute. But before that, the problem is not a scarcity of jobs. It is your eligibility for those jobs, even with AMC 1. Nobody told me. I started applying in October after my AMC and OET, and every source I asked told me that it was done for the year, it was completely closed, and I should wait for the campaigns next year. Turns out, the best opportunity for me was the late vacancy management system, which opened in November. I was completely eligible. I had my OET, I had my AMC 1 exam done, but I couldn't apply because I didn't know it existed. Because of one piece of information that just nobody ever told me. And I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen to you. I don't mean to be negative. There are loads of doctors who get their first job in Australia with just AMC 1. I was almost one of them, maybe even top 10%. Being in that 10%, however, takes around 100 times the effort of what the 90% does. There are specific strategies, EOIs and follow-ups that you need to do, which I'll cover in a future video. But it's possible. It's just not automatic. It has to be planned for, and it requires a strategy. Nobody should plan around being the exception. You should know that this pathway takes around 2 years and about 5 to 6 lakh INR as an investment, and there will be extra expenses such as observerships, accommodation, travel, lots of it. Yeah, but it's not something to scare you. It's just something you need to plan around so that you don't get blindsided like me. Biggest roadblock for IMGs is AMC clinical. Yes, you do not require it. Yes, everyone will tell you you can get a job with just AMC 1, but the truth of the matter is that you can spend around 6 months to a year looking for a job and still not get any. And by that time, you will definitely start preparing for AMC clinical. Now, the preparation itself takes only around 6 months. It's not a big deal. The exam is difficult, but the biggest problem is getting to write the exam. Getting a date for AMC clinical has become one of the hardest things that blocks IMGs right now. Last opening, to get a clinical date, you had to lodge your preferences within 4 minutes of the portal opening. And that too, you have no guarantee. You might only get your date if other people have not generally chosen that date. 4 minutes. I'll get into details of why IMGs find it very difficult to get a job in Australia with just AMC 1 in my upcoming video. So subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss that video. Who is AMC really for? If you're having a 2 to 3 year plan of a career, of long-term stability, building a family, having an ethical practice without losing your mind, then AMC is one of the best choices that you can ever make. If you need income now or stability in the next few months, there are other pathways which are going to serve you better than AMC. AMC is something that you should build towards when you're ready to play the long game, not something to lean on when you need something fast. And I learned that the hard way. Now, I'll tell you the most disappointing part of my AMC journey. I had an opportunity back in October to start my internship in India, but I had just passed my AMC MCQ and I was under the impression that I could get a job within the next 2 months. So I didn't start my internship and I waited and I applied, thinking that the internship would be a waste of time. It's July now and I'm preparing for my AMC clinical with no confirmed date or guarantees, and honestly, the honest truth is that the payout now is zero. I'm not saying this to depress you. I'm saying it because I'm not the only person I know in the same stage suffering through the same thing. We didn't fail at effort. We failed with sequencing and because we didn't know the right information at the right time. That was the biggest disappointment. So here's the thing that I promised to you at the start. There is one eligibility rule by APRA which prevents a huge lot of IMGs from working as a doctor in Australia or getting a job. If you graduated from Poland, Georgia, China, or generally Europe and have an internship, your internship will not be recognized by APRA. It has to be a specific postgraduate internship. So the Indian internships are fine, but for you, your internships won't be accepted. Even with AMC 2, you will not be able to work as an RMO in Australia because you will be needing to do your internship first. There is only one way to circumvent this, and I'm going to talk all about it in my next video. So subscribe and hit the bell notification because this is not just a one-off, it's a series. And I'm not telling you all of this because I have it all figured out. I obviously have not, but I'm going to make sure that none of you lose time like I did because of the lack of information. There are ways out of this. So stay connected. There's a lot more coming up and we're all in this journey together. All the best.